Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Michelle, and today I thought I would make a little bouquet in a vase. That's how we say it here in South Africa. We don't say vase. um, so to avoid confusion, I'm just going to say the flower pot. So I grabbed out Marlene's new collage paper called Funky Florals, and also the cut and paste block called I can't remember what this block was called, but it's the A4 cut and paste block, and it is specifically to make collages. And I got my inspiration from that beautiful piece, this big one here that Marlene had done. And to me, it looked like a bouquet of flowers. So I thought I would play with that idea. So first, I'm going to fussy cut all of these flowers. And I don't make you watch me do that. I also grabbed out a couple of butterflies and that quote that said, "Show kindness from the cut and paste block." And by the magic of YouTube, you didn't have to watch me all of that. So I'm just looking and seeing where things are going to go. This is not the way it's going to look at the end, but I just thought, let me check if I've got enough. So I'm going to work on the background first. I got this beautiful brush from Studio Light. It's a 33 millimeter one, and it's got soft, oh, no, not soft. It's got hard, short bristles. And I love the way that it blended these colors together. So I did wet it a little bit. Then I used Smurf and Azure. I think those were the only two that I used. And now I'm going over the top with some Royal, and I'm just doing a little bit of mark making. I really, really like the way that this brush makes marks. And like I said, the blending on this is just sublime. So, yeah, if you like a nice blended look to your pages, then this paintbrush is definitely a must-have. It is actually for decoupage and collaging. That's on the description of the packaging. That's what it says. But obviously, I will do whatever with this brush to see just what I can get from it. You would have noticed I also drew in a little flower pot with my Stabilo oil pencil, and I just colored it in with some Heaven paint from Marlene. It's a light blue, and now I'm going in with the new Pretty Shape stencil, and I'm just going to draw some decorations on that pot, just so it's not too bland. So I've just gone into all of those, or not all of those shapes, but the diamonds and this little necklacey, dangly bit kind of shape. Gone in with blue, and I'm just going to add some details with my paint pens, just to add something there. I didn't want to leave the decorating of the pot till last because I wasn't sure how far the flowers would come down onto that pot, and I didn't want to obviously then paint over my flowers because that it's guaranteed to happen if I had to do it the reverse way. So I'm just creating a little table there for my pot to stand on, and again just using some Heaven, or I think this might be Smurf. I just smushed it out with my fingers and gave it a quick dry. And now I'm going to use the new neon stencil paste in purple, and I'm just going to add a couple of spots of that paste using the Frantic Deco stencil. And I use that beautiful deco screen, but I love that stencil, my absolute favorite. I know that you shouldn't really be heat setting your stencil paste, but I just wanted to hit it quickly with my heat gun, just so if I do go over it with my arm when I stick the flowers down, that it wouldn't smudge too much. And now I'm going in and I'm gluing my flowers down using gel medium. The one thing that I can say about this brush is it spreads the gel medium out very, very thinly. So it actually dries very quickly. You'll notice that there was a time that I wanted to lift some of these flowers up to tuck things underneath it, but because the glue was so thin already, it just didn't work. So I had to scrap that idea. In that cut and paste block, I also had some mandalas that I cut out, and I will be using them as well. One of them I've cut into half, and you'll see here I'm trying to lift that flower, but it just wouldn't. So I ended up having to cut into the mandala just to round it a little bit so it looks like it's behind that flower. And really, I'm just trying to create kind of a balanced composition here when I'm gluing things down. Once everything is in place, I will give my page a dry again, because now I will go in with some paint pens and I will add detail, extend the leaves where I maybe glued something over it, and just brighten up everything, because the leaves on this page was quite dull, and I wanted to just make sure that they are bright. I'm also drawing in a couple of stems in the background there, so when you look at it, it needs to make sense. Like I can't have a flower floating at the top there without a stem. So little tiny details like this really does make a difference to your pages. And sometimes it takes a little bit of, like, you've got to think about, what do I need here? So if you've ever done a flower pot or a bouquet or something and it didn't quite make sense, perhaps just go back and look at it and see if you've drawn in the stems of the flowers, because otherwise they just look like they're floating there. I'm going in with my paint pens and I'm going to just add a little bit more brightness to these flowers. So Marlene also has some mark making on them, like the red dots that was on the top pink one. So I just re-added them in, and I also did some of those red dots on some of the other flowers, just to create, I guess, I don't know how to say that, continuity, cohesiveness, I don't know, something along those lines, just to make things make sense. So there's not just one flower with red dots, because it might look a little bit random. Once I'm happy with all of my extra color that I've put in, I am going to go in with my blue paint pen, and I'm just putting a little line down, and then with a damp brush, it's not wet, I'm just blending that color out a little bit. So it just creates a little bit of shadow behind the flowers, underneath the leaves, and again, it just makes, well, to me, it just makes it look like it makes sense. Obviously, it's not a realistic painting. I wouldn't dare to try and paint a realistic looking flower, but it still needs to make sense somehow. So I'm just adding a little bit of darkness behind those flowers, and kind of around it, so it looks just real, I guess, or more realistic. I'm also going in underneath that flower pot and creating a little bit of a shadow. I'm finishing off the table there, and yeah, just a little bit of faffing going around. So then I thought I would outline everything with a black paint pen, but I really, really like the soft look of this page. So what I'm doing instead is I'm putting my paint pen down and then I'm blending it out with my fingers. So it's got a more of a softer look to it than a harsh black line. Also, I left my thin black paint pen in the lounge and I didn't want to go and get it. So, and obviously the thick one is just too thick. So it's a two-part reason. One is because I didn't want to get up and go fetch my pen. And the other one is I really like that soft blended look. When I'm done with that, I'm going in with my Stabilo All pencil and I'm just going to add some shadows. Again, here on the table, because I've got my light at the top there, I did struggle to see that pencil a bit, so that's why I'm tipping my book up. And then I thought, when I've got flowers on my kitchen table, there's always leaves lying around it because I leave it there until the flowers are like dead, proper dead, just to have as much of the pretty flowers on my kitchen counter as possible. So there's always a leaf or a petal lying around, and I thought I would just have some leaves there as well. Maybe these flowers aren't very fresh anymore. Then I thought maybe I should outline it with white because I recently did a page with florals and I outlined it with white and I absolutely loved it. So I started, but it just didn't look quite right. Again, my thin paint pen is in the lounge and I didn't want to go fetch it. So probably if I'd gone and fetched it and did a thin white line around to outline, it might have worked. But alas, here we are. Just a little bit more faffing with the shadows, and then I'm going to glue that little butterfly down. I'm going to finish off with that quote that I had cut out, the one that said spread kindness. But first I thought my background needed a little something more, so I took out the Sunshine Baby stamp set, and there's a little text stamp on there, and I'm just going all over the show with that. Not fussed about what it says, I just wanted that extra texture there. All right, while I'm finishing up here, if you are new here and you like this kind of chaotic thing and me not picking up my paint pen, please subscribe to my channel, give me a like, let me know that you are here and you are new. I love to hear from you guys. You can also go ahead and follow me on social media. I do share some other bits and bobs there that I don't share on YouTube. I love to hear from you over there as well. If you do end up making something similar, please share it in the community section on this channel. I love to see what you guys make. It's always so fun to see that you guys make my things, find inspiration. I really love that. And I'm just finishing off with some white little doodles. And that's about it for this page. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will chat to you again soon. Okay, bye.